I turned to see the others as the Ultra peeled open the door like a lid off of a can of Cam. I grabbed Psycho-Shy by her mane, employing the wonders of fingers, and dragged her out as she started to thrash. "No! No! Bring him with us! Don't just leave him! He's all the family I have! Please!" She screamed as she fought me. We entered the copy room as the Ultra Sentinel squeezed his way into the fusion room. I nodded to the dealer once we were clear of the door. A prismatic flash cut through the gap before it sealed and locked down. Psycho-Shy's mane tore free from my grip as she hammered on the sealed door with her hooves. "Sanguine! Sanguine!" She wailed over and over again, sinking down, sobbing as she pressed her cheek to the door. "Please." Then there was a cherry-red glow, followed by a prismatic sparkle, as the Ultra Sentry resumed its pursuit. Clearly, it wasn't going to be satisfied until we were all dead. "Come on," I said. "Sanguine said there was a way out through production." "Leave me," Psycho-Shy said. "Nope," I replied. "I am through leaving ponies behind to die." I meant it too. Sanguine's family hadn't deserved to die. Not like that. Not after 2 centuries trapped in a nightmare they couldn't escape. Security saves ponies. "Shut your mouth, you stupid, self-righteous little cunt! You didn't save him! I'm going to—" she began, when there was a soft poof, and a dart appeared in her flank. Her blue eyes widened as she began to sway. "Fucking cunt!" Then she went limp. I looked over at Rampage, holding the blowgun in her mouth. P21 rolled his eyes as he said, "I know you probably wanted some kind of teary heart-to-heart before you won her over and convinced her to live, but we've really got to go." I tossed Psycho-Shy on my back, and we retraced our steps back up to the catwalk. I stared down at the blanks, still standing around in the dull obliviousness. My instinct was to save them, but I couldn't. Boo, at least, was clever enough to follow me. I'd have to lead the rest, and I couldn't see any way I could lead around a herd of mindless ponies. I tore myself away, trotting along the catwalk back to production. All we had to do was get down the shaft and escape this pink cloud. I stared down into the swirling gas as it was mixed by the robots slowly moving through it. My EFS could make out dozens of bars. Occasionally, I could see the flash of lights from their domes or eyes as they moved through the toxic cloud beneath us. We found ourselves back in front of the central pillar, the twisted statue of Discord behind us. There was nowhere left to run. I looked down into the pink cloud, but couldn't see any kind of shaft. "Not good," I muttered. "I'll say. I'm completely out of popcorn," Discord murmured. "I mean, if this is the last show I get to watch before I die, I'd at least like to enjoy it properly." I stared at the statue, a terrible, desperate feeling inside of me. "Can you do something?" Discord was silent a moment. "Well, I don't know. In better times, I'd turn the robots into mechanical wind-up toys and exhale the cloud through one nostril and get high off of it. But now, I really don't know." His tone turned contemptuous. "I really shouldn't be surprised, though. Ponies freeing me because they need me to save their cutesy-wootsy butts." "So you're saying you'd rather stay trapped and die than help us?" P21 asked grimly. "No, I'd rather you set me free. Then I'd turn you into stone, put you outside, and let you enjoy the pigeons crapping on your heads for 1,000 years," Discord murmured. "Pretty sure that pigeons went extinct," Rampage said. "Oh well. That's one small improvement. I'll probably have to bring them back, though. You can't get the whole turn-to-stone experience without birds pooping all over you," he said. "We can't free him anyway," P21 said as he pointed at the explosives on the pillar. "Soon as he's loose, those things blow up." "I suppose I could try to eat them like hot tamales, but spicy food gives me gas," Discord offered grudgingly. I looked at the cloud, then looked over at the signs again. One blurb stood out. "Activate the water flush system." I peered up at the dim roof and made out hundreds of sprinklers covering the surface. "Dealer! How do I activate the water flush system?" Ugh, no sign of him again. I knew he wasn't my crazy, so why was he hiding now? I'd have to find it myself. I'm going down there. Get ready. As soon as the cloud washes away, these robots will be able to see us. I said as I dropped the doped-up Psycho-Shy next to P-21. Then I frowned. When I did find it, I'd have to move fast. P-21 was carrying the crates. Rampage couldn't carry Psycho-Shy or Boo in her diminutive form. I looked at the blank mirror inside. I really hoped this worked. Boo, I need you to listen. I have to go down there for a bit. You need to follow Rampage and carry Psycho-Shy. Okay? Can you do that for me? She blinked once, cocking her head curiously, and burped. I groaned. We were doomed. Don't worry, BJ. I'll try and explain it to her, Rampage said, and then frowned. Are you absolutely sure that you don't want us to try and come with you? I could. Rampage, that pink stuff turns your flesh into goo. Do you really want to risk being reduced to a blob of pink bubblegum stuck to the floor? We don't have any way of vaporizing you quickly. I'm the one already stuck to my barding, and I've got the metal legs. I turned and dug through my saddlebag, though pulling out a clear helmet. How things like this fit into my bag, I could not imagine. I put the helmet on. The ear talisman looked broken, though. I'd have to be quick. Be ready to move as soon as you see the tunnel. They'll be ready. But Blackjack, what about the enervation down there? P-21 asked grimly. Slow, portable death from enervation or fast death by robots? I replied rhetorically, trotting quickly back to the stairs into the cloud. Instantly, my hide started to prickle from the holes in the environmental suit as the gas got in. Oh right, those. I'd be lucky if air became an issue. My telekinesis was barely able to lift the revolver. I was left with my own 4 hooves. The pink mist swirled around me as I moved through the narrow gaps between the machinery. Was something generating this, or was all the mist the result of years of sanguine living down here? Guess it really didn't matter in the long run. Unauthorized zebra intruder, crackled a voice behind me, and I turned and crimson beams scoured my backside. I could barely see the glowing eyes, but it looked close enough. I set my 4 hooves and kicked back with such force that the Practopony's head exploded into a shower of scrap and sparks. As it fell on its side, more crimson beams flashed over me. I fell the other way, already feeling woozy from the poisons seeping in. I needed to find a valve, or lever, a button, something that could be used to flush away flux. I couldn't even tell which way the walls were. Barrels of flux were stacked in precarious leaking columns and pillars around and atop the equipment. Some seemed to have absorbed the poison, changing from rainbow sludge into an almost bloody pink fluid. I really did not want to find out what that would do to me. Halt, and be vaporized! Boomed a voice as I darted atop the steel conveyor belt. A missile rocketed through the fog, and I leapt out of reflex. I was quite impressed that I managed to complete the backflip and stick the landing, facing the sentry robot as the missile exploded behind me. 3 barrels tumbled down beside me, spilling noxious, magical waste. I stood on my hind legs, lifting my forelegs to catch the barrel, and heaved it towards the large machine. The Gatling gun purred and the drum exploded, showering the robot in pink goo. Instantly, it began to liquefy into a rusted sludge. Okay. Really do not want to get that stuff on me. 4 more Protectoponies came trotting out of the fog, walking through the sludge, heedless of the rust that crept up their metal legs as they sprayed beams of magic incineration at me. I rolled back under the conveyor and kicked 3 more barrels at the robots as they advanced, removing objects drawing their fire as I ran the other way. My back burned terribly. I was fairly sure that if I was completely natural, I would have been pink bubblegum by now. The robots were closing in, and I still hadn't found any method of turning on the sprinklers. I had no clue where the stairs out of this fog were, and my breathing was getting slow and heavy. Unauthorized presence! Exterminate! Buzzed a sentry bot out of the pink fog, sending another missile flying towards me. I barely hit the ground in time for it to miss and explode, showering me with chips of concrete. I looked back at the crater the missile had blown out of the wall, and then at the large pipe and wheel next to the hole. Emergency water flush system. Read a sign over the valve. I whooped as I rushed over to it and set my hooves and started to turn. Nothing. I grunted and strained as I heard the robot approaching behind me. Then I noticed a little sign hung over the wheel. Out of order. "I'm going to kill them!" I bellowed as a little yellow sign. Okay, so technically I'd probably have to invent time travel if I wanted to do that, but it would be worth it! The robot fired another missile. I dove aside in time for it to blow another chunk out of the concrete wall. I'd seen Rampage take a sentry down with her hooves, but she had super strength and the ability not to die. I raced through the gloom towards the robot. Its Gatling gun purred as it swept a line of metallic death towards me. As the robot became more and more into my view, I left it to my body and leapt up onto a conveyor belt, closing the distance. It fired a missile as my legs sprang to a barrel, and I vaulted over the streaking projectile to land on its back. "I have dealt with enough shit today!" I screamed as I rammed my hooves into its metal head. The robot responded by lurching to the left and ramming into the machinery, nearly knocking me off. Then it reversed and slammed into the machinery on the right. I was only just hanging on. I needed something more substantial. Oh, this was going to suck. I took a deep breath and my horn flared, popping the helmet off once more. A sane pony would hold her breath. But I really needed to get that sprinkler to work. "P-21! Grenades!" I screamed at the top of my lungs, and threw the helmet up as hard as I could with my free hand as the other hand held on for dear life. Funny, if I'd had P-21's hat on, wasn't surrounded by toxic gas, and didn't have an army of killer robots after me, this would be pretty fun. 1 second, nothing. 2 seconds, nothing. 3 seconds, I was fucked. And then I heard the clatter of metal pinging beside me and threw myself over the machinery to my left, using the robot's momentum to carry me over. There were 3 explosions as P-21's grenades went off, and I kept the robot and knew it was scrap. Well, it at least wasn't going to do more than crackle feebly. It wasn't going to be getting up soon. And neither was I. I felt my ear stick to the floor. Then I felt it stretch like taffy as I rose to my hooves. I staggered towards the wall and pipe and that damned valve. I gripped with my fingers and began to heave. My lips felt runny as I dared not close my eyes. I wasn't sure I'd be able to open them again. Harder. Twist harder. Do it! Be strong. Be unwavering. I felt a little orange pony in me that wouldn't let some stupid valve stop me from saving my friends. I felt my mechanical parts and my flesh parts start to move, like the latter were simply going to slide off the former. Don't inhale, Blackjack. Whatever you do, don't do that. Just turn the damned wheel. Even a dumb shit pony like you can do that without fucking up, right? And there was a grinding noise beneath my hooves, and then the valve suddenly popped. Immediately, I heard a great gurgle within the pipe, and from overhead there came a loud hissing of air that was soon replaced by that of water. A dulge poured down upon me, and I drew in a painful breath through my nose as I stood in the flood. The water was tainted pink as the countless sprinklers hosed down the section of the factory floor. I tried to open my mouth, but I couldn't. I rubbed a hoof over my lips, only feeling a single flap of skin. Shit. Shit, 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 shit.